Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Discovery Pod with Eve. I am Eve Richards. We've got such an exciting show today. We'll do the intro, introduce our guest in a few minutes. So please make sure you watch this episode on the Discovery Pod with Eve's YouTube channel, or you could listen to us on your favorite podcast platform. I am joined today by my co-host, Alicia Dawn Hampton. Alicia, welcome back to the Discovery Pod with Eve. It's so great to have you back.
Thank you. Nice
tell us what you are currently, anything new that you'd like the audience to know about?
Well, let's see. I've got a feature film in the works, probably shooting around the end of February. And I recently got back from my first trip to Japan.
Awesome. I love Japan. I love Tokyo.
Yeah.
How was that experience?
It was wonderful. It's such a unique place. If for those who haven't been there, they have toilets that play music.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if their toilets are fancy, you can hang out in there. No, it was just wonderful. The people are kind. It's so clean.
It's clean.
No trash cans anywhere. I don't quite know how it stays so clean, but I guess they just take it all with them. And we went up into the north part of the main island and wanted to catch some wonderful fall colors, but it was too warm, so the trees hadn't started to change. But we met some wonderful people. We stayed at onsens, which are the hotels that have mineral baths.
Nice.
Lovely, so lovely. So definitely need to go back.
And I saw some pictures of you from Shibuya. I love that area of Tokyo. Which
it's nuts. It's nuts. The
crazy.
Lights and the sounds and the people. It's overstimulating, but so unique. Again, it's just
amazing. Yeah. And you recently relocated, actually within the last few days, from you used to come here a lot, but you're now permanent in LA from San Francisco.
Permanent in LA. This morning I got to experience the traffic firsthand.
Oh my goodness. Well, welcome. I mean, in terms of being a local here in LA. So you're going to be doing the intro, introducing our guest. So please go ahead and...
Yes, today we have Jesse Corti. He is most known for some of the voices that he's done, like LeFou in Beauty and the Beast, but he's done so many. He originally started out with the role of Courfeyrac, I'm not saying that right, in the original Broadway production of Les Misérables, and he has spanned genres, platforms, and cultures with his work, leaving a mark on audiences around the world. So he's given his voice to not just LeFou, but also to characters in Frozen and Zootopia. And his on-screen presence has brought depth and intensity to roles on TV like 24, Heroes, Desperate Housewives, and more.
Wow.
So what's going on this season right now is he is directing A Christmas Carol, which he has done for the past 4 years. This is the 4th year. And that's at the First Presbyterian Church in Hollywood. But he's going to talk more about that in a minute. But we can once again enjoy this wonderful production with the talent that he has. Looking forward to it. Welcome, Jesse.
Well, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Of course. It's so great to have you here. So you've had an incredibly versatile career. What's a moment from your journey that still when you reflect on, even years later, that seems to be like that one moment that's like, that did it for you?
I was a pre-med major.
Wow.
And then, but I was always playing in a rock band. I was a lead singer in a band, and so I was always the front guy. And I took electives. I took theater as electives. My acting teacher said to me, "You're really good. I'm going to bring you to New York. You're going to go in on an open call because you have to be in the union to get a job. And if you're not in the union, you can't get it. I mean, there's a catch-22 there." So that was a time he brought me into New York. I was living in New Jersey at the time. And I went in to audition, and they called me and said, "You have the job," but I didn't get the lead, which is the part that I was going for. And I said, "Oh, I auditioned for this part." And they said, "I know, but we have somebody already contracted for that." And I said, "Oh, well, and then I can't do it." And they said, "What?" So my acting teacher said, "Are you crazy? You got to do it. You're going to get your equity card." And at that time, so I already had a job as an administrator at university. I had switched my major from communication to philosophy. That was my major. But that was the turning point for me when they called me back.
Wow.
And they said, "We're going to do this to the other contract because the promoters of that show saw my audition and they said, "What? He's not doing it? He's the best guy."
Oh, nice.
Wow. That's
So,
incredible.
But naivety. I was naive about the business. I would never tell somebody to say no to an equity contract. But at that time, it was $1,500 a week plus $600 per diem. Wow. So it was a lot of. It's a lot of money today, I guess.
It is a lot of money today. Yeah.
But when you're a millionaire, everything's relative. But that was a turning point for me.
That's wonderful.
That I was introduced to this craziness of theater in New York, and anyway, so that was I would say the turning point for me, where I said,
incredible,
I'm gonna take this job. And my dad was instrumental. He said, "Listen," because it was a national tour, and I was playing Judas in Jesus Christ Superstar, and my dad said, "Oh, I think you could do that anytime. I think you can always come back. Don't worry about." So my mom said, "Are you kidding me? You have a job as administrator. You can have that job." My mom was totally the opposite.
Oh.
She was, but I listened to my dad. And
nice.
Did you dance and sing, Jesse? Like, were you?
I took dance in school. I mean, at the college, and I took dance because me and my friend, who ended up being Stallone's double for the next 20 years, we took it because there were girls there. And we got to take a dance class, so we got to dance. So the teacher loved us because we could spot the girls and do all that stuff. So I did dance. I knew I always sang. But you know what? It was in church, Eve, that I started with doing plays.
Wow.
Here, 3-year-old, 4-year-old, like little manger, coming in as a shepherd. I was doing all those things back then in church.
In church.
And lo and behold, Alicia, I'm here today in a church directing other people to do it.
So it's a good segue into you're directing A Christmas Carol,
yes,
which opens tomorrow. Well, today's the 5th of December 5th, and it opens December 6th. So tell us about this 100. The church is celebrating
100 years.
100 years. So tell us about this new.
About the
version.
venue, yeah. It sounds like a wonderful venue.
Well, it is. The church was built in 1924. Wow. And you were there. And I'm just kidding. There's a gentleman here to my right, who's my bodyguard.
Roger, that you can't see.
And no, Roger, you know that he's much younger than me. I don't want anybody saying anything. So anyway, so 1924 it was built. It's a Gothic wood. Gorgeous, and it's got the stained glass windows on the side. It's one of the most beautiful places you could go. I think you've seen it. I
was there last year.
There you go. You see what I'm saying? Now you got to go and preach. So anyway, this is when I moved from New York, because I started in New York City, lived there. My son was born there. I got married there. New York
City as well.
And I came. See what I mean? And then we came to L.A. And, of course, we pay the weather tax because the weather's so great. We just stay here no matter what they do to you. So when I came here, that was a church that I attended. And then somebody said to me, "Jesse, could you direct this A Christmas Carol?" And I said, "Absolutely not, because I don't want to do like a church play thing. It's nice, but I want it. I would want it to be like this." I said, "Well, what would you need?" I said, this, and that. And they said, "Okay." So my wife I also didn't want to do a 2-act. I wanted 1 act, an hour and a half. That's it. So it's fast, and then the venue right afterwards is a big party that's part of the ticket that you get, obviously, when you get a ticket to go there. So my wife, she adapted the play.
Wow. And
what I loved about my wife, besides the fact that she said yes to me, that's a great story how that happened. But anyway, I'm not even going to go in there. Because she was engaged when I met her. Anyway, okay, enough about it. Christmas Carol. So when Christmas Carol came, we adapted. What I wanted to do with the Christmas Carol was to do what Dickens really wanted to say and do. Right now, what when people see the show, it's not really Dickens, the exactly what he wrote. And also, when they do this play now, they use like adults to play Tiny Tim, and we have real kids to play Tiny Tim. Really, real kids. Of course, you have to deal with parents. You have to deal with scheduling, school, exams. So it's harder to do, but it gives you the realism. I want it to be like you can't say Chekhov, but I want it to be like a play with music, and to be serious, that we're really talking about these horrific things that happened at that time, 1843, what was going on at the time. So my wife adapted it, and we included things that were not in other plays.
Okay.
So that is one of the things that I really enjoy, love, and I'm proud of. And by the way, if it's okay to say, it's such an easy get. It's just ChristmasCarolHollywood.com. ChristmasCarolHollywood.com.
Okay.
You go there and mention my name. No. And
How long's it running for?
it's running for the next 7 years. No, it's running.
Oh, we're on the 4th.
It's running. You're right. No, it's running till the 21st. So we have 10 performances, including tonight. We have 10 performances, but it's a big venue. You can fit as many as 1,800 if you wanted to do that. But so that is.
I hear
Yes.
that every year you try to do something different. And last year you added some gaslights.
Yes.
What did you do differently this year?
This year, we fired the guy who couldn't remember his lines. No, just kidding. No, everyone is excellent.
Well,
They're all.
Tiny Tim is outgrown. He's too tall.
I hope it's not a Scrooge.
But there are two scenes. I don't want to give it away. There are two scenes that are brand new,
Nice.
and we have added certain things to the Fezziwig party. There's a big dance number.
Yeah.
We've added certain things to that scene. So it is a little. I try not to, make it longer, but it adds to it. I think it tells the story better.
That's amazing.
So it is. It's always fun, and we have 9 different new cast members.
Oh, that's incredible.
Many of the cast, like I said, they're professional actors. So some go do movies, some go do this, and then we have to get new people.
Little Tim outgrew.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm glad his mom feeds him. But he's, and this year we have, if I can mention one of the casts, you were talking about, you're shooting a film. We have Diane Venora is playing Christmas Past. And if you Google Diane Venora, she's done she's worked with every major, Anthony Hopkins, Russell Crowe, De Niro, Jack Nicholson, Meryl Streep. But she is so quiet. When she put her resume, I said, Diane, what is your bio? She goes, just say I went to Juilliard, done Broadway, and they can look me up on IMDb. I said, okay. So she got like 3 lines. She doesn't, and her picture's just like her sitting somewhere.
Yeah.
But she is tremendous
That's
in
amazing.
this show. She is tremendous. So I'm really happy about that.
That's incredible. So you've experienced the magic of Disney from within.
Yes.
What about Disney's storytelling style do you think is so universal, that resonates with you?
Yes. Well, the interesting thing with Disney is they always have a story where someone dies and comes back to life, whether it's a kiss or from the magic, whatever. There's a redemptive story, and that's the classic story. The story in the Bible is that Jesus died and rose from the dead, right? Mm-hmm. So that resurrection, that change of life, that, going from autumn, spring, and then you have spring. And so all of those redemptive stories are there. So it's very powerful that you see someone's life who changes from, being a real rotten person. Somebody sat through a run-through and said to me the other day, Jesse, it's great, it's wonderful. Scrooge is so mean. He's so, and I said, he has to be mean in order for the redemption and the goodness to stand out even more so. So that life and death, I try to teach my actors that are younger, that everything's life and death. If I don't do this, someone's going to die.
Wow.
You know, it's all about life and death, choices and stuff. But that's the story that, you know, when you think of, real quick, you think of E.T., right? E.T.'s an alien from another planet, comes to Earth, mingles with the people. They dress him like he becomes like one of the people. He dies. They kill him. Then he comes back to life. He does all these fantastic things. And then he tells the kid, I'll be right here. And I'm coming back. It's the Jesus story. And you can see it in Harry Potter. You can see it in any great story has that story in it.
That's incredible.
So that's what I keep trying to tell this guy. Does he listen? All right, I don't want to talk about it.
I'm curious to know, like, who
Yes.
have been some of the most impactful people in your life who've helped you? 'Cause you've gone from acting to directing and done so much in between there.
I'll tell you, that's a great question. And like they say in Congress, thank you for that question, Senator. I think the biggest impact I've had in my life, besides knowing who I am, where I am, and what is my purpose, is my wife.
That's
Meeting my wife, who's also in the business, it was very helpful because she understood the process and
Yes.
everything that goes on. So that was very impactful, and she's a choreographer, a dancer. So, and I see her every morning. I pinch myself every day that you're here.
Yeah, so she's been able to support you and
She
through
has.
the, you know, every day.
And
every
let
day.
me tell you, through thick and thin, because, you know, it's feast or famine. But the other people that have impacted my life are the directors that I've worked with. Joseph Papp, who started the New York Shakespeare Festival, where they've done Chorus Line, Hamilton, you know, all the shows that came out. I did Haggadah, and I did a bunch of other plays there that started there. So those directors were very impactful. And Trevor Nunn, John Caird, who people should look up. But it's like saying you worked with the top of what there is. They're at the top of their game. And I had a chance to work with them, learn from them, glean things about it. So it helps me as a director to tell the story. And I have been blessed. I'm not saying, oh, no, I just did it. No. It's like, you know, I see staging. I see something. I go, that's good. That doesn't work. That's, you know, I can see it. So I have been blessed with that. But those people, those fellow directors, and they're all Broadway directors and stuff, helped me to understand my craft and to put it forward.
Amazing.
So I thank them for that. And you probably have experienced some of that, at least, you know, with if you're in a movie on a set, you know, you experience when you work with a great director, when you work with a great director.
Absolutely.
You just know this guy's good. He
yes.
is watching me. He knows what's going on.
Yeah. So it's a good segue into this question. Knowing that you've done so much, you've done film, you've done TV, you've done Broadway, all of that. How do you choose your roles today? And are there any specific themes that you look for that sort of draw you to a specific character?
Well, I'm in a position where I don't have to. You know, when I started doing this, there was a lot of things I said no to.
Good.
I'm not going to kill nuns. I'm not going to rape women. I'm not going to be doing those things. So I said no to a lot of stuff. And some of the stuff, you know, Delta Force, and there's a lot of things that went on to do stuff. So because I don't need to, because I do a lot of voiceovers and animation and stuff where I just do what I want. I don't have to be in a position where I have to do that. But if somebody comes up to me and says, like, for instance, I did Death Stranding. Oh man, the director. He's the biggest director in the business. Hideo Kojima. Great guy, fantastic guy. Got called in to work with all the stars. I was the only non-star in it. And I said, oh my gosh, Death Stranding. It's this game that's one of the biggest games, and it's very. In fact, doing part 2, I'm not even supposed to say it because I signed an NDA to it.
You heard it here.
But
Or you heard it here first.
You heard it here. Part 2's coming, and I'm not going to tell you what happened. But they're all the leads and stuff. But he liked me because I also did Heavy Metal Gear. I've done a lot of other games, that's part of the genre and stuff. And he really liked me, and so it's an interesting thing. It's a different thing. It's like you're in a hangar, everything's green, and they tell you, Jesse, that is they'll say that's a toothbrush, because everything's green. So it's a weird way of doing it, but you have to memorize a lot of stuff. So So when I did those things, I said, wow, okay. Never done video games, but now I've done over, 150 games.
Wow.
Do you have a preference? Like, do you enjoy TV more than live theater or
I gotta
than
tell
voices?
you,
or
I know that's a good question. I have enjoyed everything I've done. I enjoyed working with Kevin Costner. I enjoyed working with Sophia Loren.
Nice.
I enjoyed working with all these, big actors and everything. We became friends and everything. But I have to say, theater's my favorite. I told Kevin Costner, I said, Kevin, because he goes, don't you think film? He was talking about film and stuff. We were doing Revenge. Don't say that movie's very rough. He says, you're on celluloid and it's there forever. I said, well, on Broadway, they tape it and they put it in the archives at the Lincoln Center. So it's the same thing. It's video, but it's not. So he goes, yeah, but this. I said, listen, when you say cut, you get a chance to redo it. In theater, if something messes up, you have tomorrow to fix it.
Yes.
It's so you're walking more on your tippy toes, on kind of eggshells in a way that you have to be on it. Yeah. You can never be too relaxed. There's an edge there. So I think I enjoy theater more.
The adrenaline rush.
Yes.
The liveness.
Going out for a curtain call? There's nothing like that.
It's exciting.
There's nothing like you go out for a curtain call. I used to tell the stagehand, I go, I'm going to go out there, and what you hear, what you're going to hear. This is why I do it. That's all right, Jess.
That's great.
That's great.
So,
so you've done a lot of partnerships for Drug-Free America.
Yes.
So can you tell us a little bit about some of that work that you've done?
Well, what happened there was I was married prior to being married to Julieta. And that was a rough period in my life. It was in 1986, 87, when my wife, Laura Di Berardino, we had just been married 6 months. And she was killed in a train.
I read that. Very sad.
So it was very tough. It was very rough. And then I did some of the Drug-Free America commercials, and I won a Clio, and all that. And I did them in Spanish and in English because I'm totally fluent in Spanish. Yo hablo español perfectamente, Eve. Tú sabes que yo hablo español. Y este que está aquí no habla español. Él habla solo inglés. He doesn't even know what I'm saying. But I do speak fluent English and Spanish. So I did them in both languages. But that was I even thought, I should, because you think of all these things, you think, maybe I'll just not do this anymore.
Wow.
But she was the reason that I was doing the job that I was doing, because I was doing a soap opera, which was paying very well. It's a 13-week cycle. They give you good money. Now it's different. Now what they do now, they go, you're going to do this for $100,000 a year, or you're out. Yeah. But in those days, you would get like $13.50 per show. You're guaranteed 13, and there's a 13-week cycle. So it was nice. So I said, I'm making money. When you're young, you're living in New York, you go, I'm making all this money. She goes, no, this is a special. This is an original show. You're going to Broadway, blah, blah, blah. So I took that job. And because of that, in a sense, that she went to see me at the Lincoln Center. We were at the Lincoln Center. And then she took the train back, and that's when
it happened. So sorry to hear
16
that.
people were killed.
So tragic. Yeah. I had a question, and I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah, sure. And, I'm good about that, and so is my wife.
Good.
You know what's an interesting thing is my wife is Irish-Italian.
Nice.
And she was a dancer, just like my other wife. So they're both dancers. They both had, two of my mother-in-laws were named Judith. Both had brothers named Michael.
Wow.
Both were in the military, and both flew for Southwest when they got out.
The serendipity, right?
Oh, my goodness.
Wow.
I couldn't believe it.
Well, speaking of family, now I did remember my question.
Okay.
You've worked with a lot of this cast, it sounds like, in A Christmas Carol for 4 years now? I mean,
At least half of them.
So is it this wonderful bonding experience, or are you ready to kill them?
No, because my daughter's in it. She's also an actress, Jesse Corti, and she works, and she's wonderful. So I get to work with my daughter. That's fantastic. And I get to work with my wife. So that's fantastic. And yes, there was a guy who worked at the Public Theater at the New York Shakespeare Festival, Joe Papp in New York when I knew him there. And he's in the show, first time, and Randy Vasquez. And we did a show called Jag, and if you remember the show, but I was in the show with him. And I remembered him, and I called him and said, listen, there's this opening. You don't even have to audition, because I knew he's a great actor. And he said, yeah, I'll do it.
Wow.
Okay.
So
I do enjoy working with different actors and different people that I've become closer to.
I think one director that I recently worked with, I kind of asked him the same, and he said to me, and he's so right, and you just said it. Acting is, it's like real life, where you want to work with people that you admire, or people that you respect, and the quality of their work.
Yes.
So how much longer can you keep doing directing A Christmas Carol? Are you at a position where it's like, I know it's a new cast, and so it's invigorating. Like, how much do you think you can go on and do this year over year, or are you getting to the point where you're like, okay, I've done it 4 years, there's nothing else that...
Well, I have been fortunate to be able to work in this crazy world of entertainment. And it's not something that I retire from. It's something that I'll know when I don't want to get up in the morning or something.
Yeah.
But in life, you have a purpose. You do things, and you're telling a story, you're doing stuff. So I never have to retire.
Of course.
As long as I can talk into this mic, as long as there's a Newman 87 somewhere. No. This is always going to be, I'm always going to be able to do this. The wonderful thing is that if I miss a shower one day, I have my recording studio, Dubbing Brothers. I just go there, I have my recording, I do my thing. Sometimes I'm talking to New York, or I'm recording with someone else. But I don't know if I may not act in front of the camera, but I will always do something in it, involved with it. And theater for me is great. I have like 4 plays that are original plays that I want to do,
That's incredible.
do. So
in 2025, next year?
Well, I hope at least one of them,
Okay.
but I do have them. But I have to find the right location and stuff. What we do at the church, when you walk in, it's a theater,
Yes.
but it's not a theater the rest of the year. It's a regular
regular
sanctuary and
yeah.
everything else, and I doubt they would ever allow, especially some of these other places. But so I do have things that I want to direct and I want to do.
Amazing.
Is there any production or role or show that you'd love to be a part of?
When I was doing Les Misérables, I got the role to do Jean Valjean in California, leave New York. Mm-hmm. And I've always wanted to do that role, but we had some problems with the contract. And needless to say, I said no. I didn't want to do it, and so that's a role that Jean Valjean. I'm the right age now to play the latter part, but that's a role that I wish that I could do. And in Superstar, I love that show, Superstar. There's like pilot. You have other parts that I could do as well. I'm too old to do Judas.
Oh, you're never too old, right?
That's true. Well, I got the best surgeon in Hollywood. Hello. Come on now.
You're funny.
How about
So-
voices? Any particular voices you'd love to do?
Oh man, let me tell you, I've always done voices. I've always enjoyed them. Hanna-Barbera, scale +10. May I help you? I've always enjoyed doing voices and doing LeFou. Obviously, when you do original characters, whether it's Frozen or whatever, Zootopia, all of these other things, they're always a lot of fun. It's hard because now for like Mickey Mouse, it's like 7 guys that do Mickey Mouse. All of but to originate a role, I'm going to be working on a film. I can only say it's X, but it's an animated feature. It's a big animated feature, and I have a really nice role in it, and I play a bird.
Wow.
Okay.
That's
And,
When can we
challenging.
expect that? When can we
Gosh,
expect
maybe in a year and a half, 2 years.
Nice.
But even like those shows like Beauty and the Beast and all of those took years to come out.
Yeah.
And I never thought that when they introduced. I used to sing at the Laker games and at the Dodger games. The national anthem. All the stuff that I've done. The thing that they liked the most and that they wanted to mention was Jesse Corti, the voice of LeFou in Beauty and the Beast, and the show Les Misérables.
Les Misérables.
So it's Les Misérables and Beauty and the Beast. That was what they wanted to hear most. So I thank God for those 2 things that I was able to do. And they were, because I think Les Mis is the best show ever. That's my opinion. And Beauty and the Beast is one of my favorite shows, movies. And by the way, Beauty and the Beast has something that they'll never do again. When Beauty and the Beast came out, remember they used to only have 5 Oscar movies.
Yes.
Right now
Before
we have 10 or 14 and all that. That movie took a place of a movie, so there was only 4 features that year when it came in back in '91, and the Oscars said this will never happen again. This will never happen again. What's going to happen now is that you're going to have your own Oscar-nominated feature, best animated feature Oscar. It can't be considered a movie. It wasn't a movie. And then, of course, after Beauty and the Beast, everybody want to be in animated features. Robin Williams, you got Will. Everybody wanted to do it, and I totally understand it. But that movie, besides holding that position, also has the last time that there is somebody dies in the movie, because Gaston is trying to kill the beast, and he's climbing up the thing, and he tries to stab the beast, and as he does that, he falls back and he goes into the precipice, and he falls and he dies. They'll never do that again.
Wow.
No,
Interesting.
nobody's
Wow.
going to
Realize
die
that.
So,
in a cartoon.
what's your advice? We've got so many up and coming, whether a director or talent. What's your advice for anyone trying to get into the industry? I mean, it's a very difficult industry to navigate, obviously. So you've been in it, you've had the highs, and what would you advise anyone trying to get in?
Well, for the ladies and for the men, it's a tough situation right now, because if you say, Jesse, write me a movie, or my wife, write a movie, let's do a feature and stuff, the union has given us rules. You have to fulfill these 24 different things in the box. You have to have this, you have to have that, you have to have this, make sure you do this, and you have to do that. There are certain things, or else you can't be considered for an Oscar. So there's certain things that if you don't want to do something, if you have values and stuff, you don't have to do it. You can say no. There's power in saying no. I think a lot of people feel, I got to do this, or if I don't do this, I won't get this job. And people have made mistakes, but they've gotten out of it. So my thing is to know who you are. What does that mean? And keep your values, and don't throw them away because someone says, if you don't do this, you're not going to get it. You'll get, somebody else will do it.
So don't be afraid of saying no.
Don't be afraid. No is very powerful.
Yeah.
I have said no to a lot of things.
That's wonderful.
And yet,
Yeah.
here you are with this.
But you know what I
Yeah.
said yes to? This. I'm so happy that you guys had me here.
Oh,
Are you kidding me?
Isn't that
You
amazing?
guys-
We're happy you're here.
Oh, that's
You
incredible.
guys are fun. I get to look at beautiful people.
Oh, but I like what you said. The power of saying no, right? And that is so powerful. So I'm going to switch gears into something
Sure.
a lot more upbeat because you're celebrating the Christmas Carol opening
Yes.
tomorrow. How do you celebrate the holidays? I mean, this is such a wonderful time. And obviously, the Christmas Carol opens
Yes.
on December 6th in Hollywood at the Presbyterian Church. So how do you celebrate this magical time of the year?
We don't say Christmas. We just say holidays.
Holidays. You're right. Holidays.
No, but let me tell you something. Even when somebody says to me, "You got Jesse, it's holidays." Well, holidays means holy day. It's even higher than that. But I celebrate Christmas by obviously doing the Christmas Carol. But I celebrate it knowing there's a great book, where you have like 25 days and you go through Dickens and you see all the redemptive and wonderful stories that you can apply to yourself today to do it. But Christmas is a special time with family, friends, and you're celebrating the birth of Christ.
Yeah.
Right? Whether you believe in him or not, whether this or that, that's what we do. So I definitely go to church, and I definitely celebrate with Julietta's family and then my family.
That's wonderful.
And they're very, very special, both, to us both. So it is a time of fellowship, and I enjoy my kids,
That's wonderful.
although they're older now.
There's
And one got
that
married.
happens.
Wow,
I'm no longer daddy's little girl. Now this guy.
So you work both as an actor and director, producer, all of that. The one question how do you handle rejection? I mean, you don't have to handle rejection. You're so accomplished. But in the past, what's your advice for someone younger who's trying to navigate?
The thing is to not do your best audition in the car afterwards, or not do your best audition when you get home. The minute that you go into an audition, it's about being prepared. You have to be prepared. But how do you handle rejection after you've prepared and done everything? Because I tell a guy, when I coach somebody, and I said, look, everything I'm telling you, the guy in front of you is already doing it. All this advice I'm giving you, somebody else is already doing it. So it's what you're going to do with it. So set your goals and what you want to do, but rejection is just, you forget about it. I had the Sicilian, which is like is a pre to The Godfather, and I went to the audition, and I thought I had it. They said, you were fantastic, and somebody else got it. I was so bothered, but I was doing the play in New York, and the guy said, Jesse, there's going to be more. Believe me, you're not going to. And it's true. You didn't get this one, but you'll get the next one. You didn't get this one, you get the next one. And by the way, one of the things that is fantastic is to have either a close friend or your family, because nobody cares except your family and everything.
Yes.
Everybody says, I tell somebody, oh, I'm doing this. Why wasn't I signed up for that? They're not celebrating. When I go into a party, a Christmas party or anything, not your parties, of course. This guy over here, I go to those parties, I go. But I never say, I'm an actor, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. I try not to.
Nobody
and then when they
cares.
ask, then if they really care, then I tell them. But don't worry about rejection. Don't worry about it. It's part of life. You just move on. None of those things are going to make. They don't pay your rent. They don't do your thing. So it's the people that you have around you that are
Wow.
valuable.
That's so important. Surrounding yourself with family who can always uplift when we're going through those.
Yes. I mean, you always get hurt. Like, man, I should have gotten that part. Or I should have done this, or I should, don't shoot all over yourself. Oh, excuse me. I didn't say anything bad. I got to make sure that this guy doesn't get upset
For
with
the
me.
roles you booked, did you have a sense in the audition, like when you walked out, if you
Let me tell you something. I always thought I was going to get the job.
Yeah.
When I walked in there, I remember I was so cocky. I would come out and I'd tell everybody, guys, you can go home. And then I realized, don't do that. 'Cause
Wow.
some of the guys, they're friends of yours. But no, it's having the confidence. I don't think anybody's going to do better than me.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Wow, I'm just seeing Roger there giving me the signal that we're down to the last 3 minutes. So,
Well, he's been holding my hand the entire time. You can let go now.
the last question that we want to know is, if you were to have dinner with 3 people, dead or alive, who would it be and why?
If I was to have 3 people dead, gosh, that's a great question. Well, obviously Jesus, but I know a lot about him from the Bible and all that other stuff. Probably people that have passed away. Probably my dad, because he passed away when I was 26, and he was like the smartest guy I ever knew. He was instrumental to everything. So I wish that I could hang out with him again. And probably the Apostle Paul.
Wow, that's a great one.
You
Oh
know,
my goodness.
I said, come on, did you really, what happened there? You died and came back, because he got beaten and all that. No, but his the epistles that he wrote and everything.
That's
so
incredible. Oh, Jesse, it's been so wonderful having you here today. So please let folks know if you
Yes.
want to get tickets to A Christmas Carol, which opens in Hollywood December 6th.
And it runs through December 21st, and we have matinees on Saturdays and Sundays.
And folks can go
And they can go to achristmascarolhollywood.com and order your tickets there. And you'll get to see pictures, interviews with people, and you'll get to see the cast and some other stuff on the website. But definitely please come. And if you see me afterwards, because there's a big venue afterwards where my wife does this thing where people dance and they eat. Everything's part of the tickets. Everything's free. If you see me, come up to me, and I'll say hi. We'll talk and do that.
That's wonderful.
Sounds lovely.
Happy holidays.
Yeah.
This has
Definitely
been
come.
great. I will.
Let me know when you're coming. Let
I
me know when
will.
you're coming.
I will. Thank you, Alicia. This has been such a great episode. I mean,
I was with 2 beautiful women.
Roger, thank you so much for producing. Jamie over there, thank you. Jesse.
Thank you, Jesse.
What an incredible
Thank you.
honor to have you with
please.
us today, and especially knowing that we're going into the holiday
Yeah.
season. Folks, please check out A Christmas Carol opening at the Presbyterian
Church of Hollywood.
Church of Hollywood on December 6th.
Yes.
Alicia, thank you so much for coming by to host
Thank
with
you,
me.
Eve.
It's been wonderful to have you. Everyone, again, please make sure you watch this episode with Jesse on the
Yes.
Discovery Pod with Eve's YouTube channel, or you could listen to us on your favorite podcast platform. Again, please watch this and check us out every Thursday. You never know who's going to stop by. Until then, thanks everyone, and see you again soon. Bye, everyone.